Hi there. Welcome to episode 6 of our mind blowing series, where we uncover the craziest, most jaw dropping facts you've heard. Let's jump right in. Did you know that the bulletproof vest was actually invented by a pizza delivery guy from Detroit? Richard Davis, after getting shot twice on the job, he invented the vest on July 15, 1969. Talk about turning a bad situation into something life saving. Have you heard of Michel Lotito, known as Monsieur Mange-Tout? During his lifetime, he consumed 18 bicycles, 15 supermarket trolleys, 7 TV sets, 6 chandeliers, 2 beds, a pair of skis, a light aircraft, and even a computer. He provided the only example in history of a coffin ending up inside a man. Gastroenterologists who examined him described his ability to consume up to 900 grams of metal per day as unique. He died of natural causes in 2007. Did you know about the elephant bird? These giant, flightless birds were native to Madagascar and were around until the 17th century. Driven to extinction by humans, their eggs were so massive that one egg could feed an entire family. There's a Native American lake named Chargogagogman Chagagog Chaubuna Gunkamag. It's a Native American name that means, you fish on your side, I fish on my side, and no one fishes in the middle. Located in Webster, Massachusetts, most people just call it Webster Lake. The shortest scheduled commercial passenger flight in the world is between Westray and Papa Westray in Scotland. It takes about a minute, and the record is 53 seconds. That's shorter than some TV commercials. Just make sure you don't blink, or you might miss the whole flight. The first speeding ticket was issued in 1896 to a Mr. Walter Arnold in Kent, UK. He was caught going a super fast and reckless 8 miles per hour, which was 4 times the speed limit of 2 miles per hour. Did you know Mangayama Yaramadi is the oldest woman in the world to give birth in September 2019 at the age of 74? And speaking of giving birth, Lina Medina from Peru became the youngest confirmed mother in history at just 5 years, 7 months, and 21 days old. She gave birth on May 14, 1939. Have you ever wondered why grass makes us itch sometimes? It's because the tiny edges and bristles on the grass make small cuts on your skin, causing slight itching. You probably can't see the cuts, but they're there. That's why they call them blades of grass. Speaking about fascinating, did you know some banks in the world have therapists known as wealth psychologists? They help clients who can't mentally cope with their immense wealth. It's all about managing the psychological burden of having too much money. Now that's a problem I would like to have. Are tarantulas dangerous to humans? Despite their scary appearance, tarantulas, including the Goliath bird eater, are mostly harmless to humans. They do have venom, but their bite is less painful than a wasp sting. They're generally quite passive. Get this, just sitting and talking on the phone for 8 hours burns 914 calories. Wait, it gets better. Driving a car for 8 hours burns around 1,219 calories, and standing in a casino for 8 hours burns about 1,402 calories. Who knew being on your feet could be such a workout? Did you know there's a flower that smells like chocolate? It's called Cosmos atrosanguineus, or chocolate cosmos. It's a plant from Mexico that can grow up to about 24 inches high and has a maroon-colored flower. It smells like chocolate, but don't be fooled, no part of this plant is edible. Ever wonder why crackers have holes in them? The holes in crackers are there to prevent them from puffing up and forming bubbles while they bake. If the holes are too close together, the crackers end up dry and hard because too much steam escapes. If the holes are too far apart, parts of the cracker rise and form bubbles. It's all about balance. Did you know there are some bees that can sting more than once? Honeybees can only sting once because their stingers have special hooks that get stuck in the skin, tearing out of their bodies when they try to fly away. But wasps and many other bees can sting multiple times because they can pull out their stingers without injuring themselves. Get this, nerve impulses in human can travel at speeds up to 268 miles per hour. This speed depends on how quickly charged ions like sodium, potassium, chloride, and calcium move in and out of cell membranes. Now, that's what I call fast. Do you know how many taste buds a catfish has? Catfish have over 100,000 taste buds, and some larger ones can have up to 175,000. In comparison, an adult human has only about 2,000 to 4,000 taste buds. Remarkably, Catfish have taste buds all over their bodies, not just in their mouths, which helps them find food in murky waters. Ever wonder which animal is the sleepiest animal in the world? It's koalas. Koalas sleep up to 22 hours a day. Their diet mainly consists of eucalyptus leaves, which don't provide much nutrition or energy, so they need a lot of rest. Speaking of energy, did you know drinking cold water can burn calories? When you drink a glass of ice water, your body has to work to raise the temperature of the water to match your body temperature. This process burns about 17.5 calories per 16-ounce glass. Now that's quite a workout. Here's a fun fact about our brains. Our brain itself can't feel pain. There are no pain receptors in the brain tissue, but the coverings around the brain, like the meninges and the scalp, can feel pain. That's why during brain surgery, patients can be awake and not feel any pain in the brain itself. Have you heard about the Hydra? Not the many-headed beast of myth defeated by Hercules, although named after it, it is a tiny aquatic organism that never dies. It regenerates itself by constantly renewing its cells. Every 20 days, it replaces all its cells. Scientists think it might hold the key to biological immortality. Nature is full of surprises, like figs. Did you know they aren't considered vegan because they have dead wasps inside? A female wasp enters the fig to lay her eggs, but eventually she dies inside. The fig then breaks her down with a protein-digesting enzyme. It's a weird but fascinating natural process. The tallest man ever recorded was Robert Wadlow from the USA. Standing at a staggering 8 feet 11 inches tall, he towered over everyone else in history. Wadlow weighed 439 pounds and also holds the title for the world's largest hands at 12.75 inches and the world's largest feet at 18.5 inches. And speaking of height, Chandra Bahadur Dangi from Nepal is the shortest person ever recorded by the Guinness World Records at only 1 feet 9 inches tall. Here's a crazy historical fact. In 1923, a jockey, Frank Hayes, had a heart attack mid-race, but his horse kept going and actually won. He's the only jockey to win a race after death. Here's something else that's wild. Your heart can keep beating even when it's outside your body, as long as it has enough oxygen. And the only part of your body that doesn't receive blood from your heart is the corneas. Every other part, comprising 75 trillion cells, relies on blood from your heart. Now here's a weird one. The longest hiccuping episode lasted for 68 years. Charles Osborne started hiccuping in 1922 and didn't stop until 1990. Did you know 757,500 gallons of water flow over Niagara Falls every second? If you do the math, that's over 65.3 billion gallons each day. The average person uses about 82 gallons of water per day for drinking, cooking, cleaning, and bathing. So if we divide 65.3 billion gallons by 82 gallons per person, it could theoretically supply around 796 million people with water for a day. Did you know the blob of toothpaste on a toothbrush has a name? It's called a nurdle. There was even a lawsuit between Colgate-Palmolive and GlaxoSmithKline, two of the world's biggest toothpaste makers, over which company had the right to portray it in their advertisements. Ever wondered what is the most expensive man-made object is? The most expensive man-made object ever created isn't even on Earth. It's the International Space Station. The ISS cost $150 billion to develop and build. It costs NASA $4 billion a year to operate. In Russia, it's a common belief that eating ice cream can keep you warm. It's based on the idea that your body works harder to warm up after eating something cold. Thanks for joining us on this wild ride of mind-bending facts. Be sure to check out our entire mind-blowing facts series here if you haven't already. Share the fact that left you most astonished in the comments below, and subscribe to stay tuned for more crazier revelations. See you next time.